This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Matt, have you heard the curse of the Taz?
I've heard the curse of the great Bambino.
Bambino, not the
That's
Taz.
Babe Ruth. The curse of the what?
Taz.
No.
No.
Curse of the Taz?
Yeah, yeah.
No.
So I learned this in
Is this a real estate thing?
No, it's not. I learned this in a Mexican food restaurant in Elk Grove.
Things you learn at a Mexican food restaurant in Elk Grove. We could write a book about that.
There you go. So I was sitting there and having dinner with Valerie. We had gotten out of appointments. And we were like, just happened to be in the same city. So, and we hadn't seen each other in a while because we're always like ships passing in the night. This was before kids. And I'm like, well, hey, we're in the same city. Let's go eat at this Mexican restaurant around the corner. She's like, sure. So we sit down and like, I'm like sitting kind of funny because like my back's really hurting. And the guy, the server comes up and goes, hey, what's up? Are you in pain? Like, oh yeah, my back hurts. And he's like, how old are you? I'm like 30. He's like, yep. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, the curse of the Taz. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, in Spanish, it's like 10 is 10, 20 is 20, but then you get into 30, 40, 50, 30, 40, 50.
Sure.
All the Taz. So those are the Taz. 60, the Taz. So you're looking at me like you don't understand.
I don't.
30.
Right.
I might be saying this wrong.
So the curse of the 30s?
Yeah, so the Taz. So once you hit 30, at the end of every decade is a Ta.
So there's no obviously. I thought there was some kind of like scientific aspect to this.
No, there's no scientific.
Well, when you turn 30, your body starts to break down.
No, so it's the curse of the Taz. And so I was like, oh, that's hilarious. I'm never going to forget that.
I think that's probably the last time we'll ever talk about the curse of the Taz probably on this show.
Okay, yeah. Well, next week I'm bringing it up. I'm going to find a reason. But anyway, so
just a reason to head down to Elk Grove and try some Mexican food. Find out about the curse of the Taz.
We'll have him on the radio show. We got to find that server, have him on the radio show. But my back was hurting, and I could not find. We tried a couple different chiropractors. It wasn't working. I tried this lady. She did have you heard of Bowen, Ranveer?
Mm-hmm. I have.
Bowen. She tried Bowen. It was not helping. But
is that a chiropractor?
No, I don't even know. It's like a form of like
it's a different technique.
It's a different technique.
More
yeah,
of like it's a mix between like massage and chiropractic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyways, didn't work. Super nice lady, but didn't work. And anyways, I found a chiropractor because here's the thing: is that I think what happens to some people is they have experiences with a chiropractor and they think that's how everybody is. But not all chiropractors
Good point.
are equally skilled.
Yeah. Not
all real estate agents are equally skilled. And so I went to a chiropractor, and he was able to fix my back. Turns out I had, and still have, L5S1. Does that sound correct, Ranveer? Okay.
It does.
So L5S1 is bulging, according to, he took a picture of it or whatever. And so he put me on this traction machine. He was able to relieve some of the tension on that. And so moving forward, I have, I've just been using an inversion table to keep it at bay. But he also told me that sitting puts 4 times the amount of pressure on your back as standing does.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard that, I'm like, okay, well, screw this. I'm getting all the chairs out of my office. So I don't even have a chair in my office.
Really?
It's just a standing desk, and it's been that way since 2019. So, yeah. But again, chiropractor helped me with my back. Whenever I'm having an issue, I know with my back, I either need to hit that inversion table, spend some time on that, or get adjusted. So... But you had some interesting questions, Matt. For example.
So going back to folks that are listening right now, and they're still skeptical of chiropractic, and many of them are not, though. Like my wife, she goes and sees a chiropractor. She believes in it 1,000%. Like I said to you off the air earlier, she's been in 9 car accidents even before she met me, and so she needs that chiropractic care. But for folks who are a little bit skeptical, Is there research on the effectiveness of chiropractic care, how it works and how it's effective and how it's helping fix our bodies? Is there research out there that the medical community can look and read?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of research now that's coming out more so relating chiropractic adjustments to the brain and the effect that it actually has on the brain. Because when you're able to get adjusted, most people just think of it like you're getting that popping sound and you're getting that release. And
it's like popping your knuckles, but for other
exactly.
Parts, yeah.
It might just be a little bit of air releasing from that joint. Very nice, very nice. You've done that before.
Is that good or bad for you?
It's fine as
Okay.
long as you're doing it.
Because you always heard that
here
from
and
your
there.
grandmother. Don't crack or pop your knuckles.
You're gonna get arthritis.
You're gonna get arthritis.
So it's okay
In
if
the
you do it?
knuckles, it's not a big deal, right? It's worse when people are really like twisting their neck into
Yeah.
an awkward
Yeah.
position to try to get things to move, because usually the reason you do that is you feel things are a little bit restricted, not quite moving the way they're supposed to. You get in there, you pop it, it releases some of that tension in there.
Yeah.
Now the problem in the neck is that when you feel that, there's usually a restricted segment in there, and you just going like this by yourself isn't going to allow you to reach that restricted segment. So you end up moving segments that are already freely moving, and you get increased motion into those areas, and oftentimes that could lead to instability in the neck.
All right, going back to the research.
Yes, let's go back to the research. So a lot of studies now are showing the effects that chiropractic can have on the brain, and the biggest thing that we see is that most of the time when people come in, their body's in a stressed out state. Now, when you're in a stressed out state, your body is releasing more cortisol and adrenaline. And what the research now is showing is that when you get a chiropractic adjustment, it actually shifts your brain to starting to release more dopamine and serotonin to counteract that cortisol
That's
and
incredible.
adrenaline that's going in there. And so if anybody wants to look up research, Heidi Havoc from the Havoc Institute of Research has a lot of great studies that they've been doing on chiropractic and the effects that it has on the brain. And then just structurally, when you look at it, if something isn't quite moving the way it's supposed to be, and there's a lot of studies on this, and you restore motion back into that area, or you get that range of motion back into that area, you're going to be able to prevent a lot more injuries from coming about. And so those kinds of studies are a lot easier to find, but I'm coming from an office that's more neurologically based. I like to see the effects that it has on the brain and allowing the body to function better overall.
So are these studies published in medical journals that the medical community, as far as, traditional doctors, that they read and understand, and do they respect that research?
Yeah, I think now compared to before, it has started to shift that way, where there are a lot of these studies that are showing up where when these studies are done in medical journals, it's more so called manipulation versus an adjustment. Now, adjustment is just a little bit more specific versus a manipulation. A manipulation is more of a global movement through an area, whereas an adjustment is a specific movement. And so a lot of these are showing up in medical journals, and there's a lot of studies. And then the biggest thing that you'll notice now is that from physical therapists and medical providers, people are starting to incorporate manipulation into their practices.
Oh, really?
So a lot of physical therapists now are doing manipulations, right? And they'll take a class and learn how to work through these areas, and then they start to incorporate it. And so I think overall people have seen the effects and the difference that it has had on their patients, and now people want to incorporate that. And so physical therapists are definitely starting to incorporate a lot more manipulation. Osteopaths have been doing a form of manipulation for many years.
Dude, I didn't know you knew about osteo. Well,
Yeah.
of course you know about them, but like we've never talked about this. My great grandfather was an osteopath.
Nice.
Yeah, and so he was like, anyways, people don't talk about those people a whole lot. Like they're hard
What
to
is
find.
They've been
that?
doing that.
Yeah, it's like something that predate. Go ahead, you know it better than I do.
Yeah, they're bone doctors, essentially. And but nowadays, here's the biggest thing is that a lot of osteopathic following under the medical guidelines has shifted from more hands-on work to being able to prescribe and under more of the medical realm. When it started, it was a lot similar to chiropractic, where it was just hands-on work that
Yep.
they were doing through those areas.
Yep.
Do you think more people would go see chiropractors if it was covered by more insurance companies and policies?
Yes. And
Why is chiropractic work not covered by more insurance policies?
it is actually covered by a good amount of insurance policies do include chiropractic. The biggest problem is that the reimbursement rates are terrible. And that's for anything that you do when it comes to medical expenses, whether you're in a hospital or you're a chiropractor. It's your reimbursement rates through insurance are not going to be great. And so you're performing a service, but you're, as a doctor, you're not getting paid anywhere near the amount that you should be for that service. And so what happens, and you see this happen in hospitals as well, is now the doctor feels like they have to do extra services in order to get that bill to line up with what they feel is fair. And so you go to a hospital, you get charged for every little thing that you do there, right?
Yeah.
It's not just going
You use
in
the
for a
elevator?
visit.
How many floors?
Exactly.
You're going to dig you for every floor.
Yeah. And, so when it's in a chiropractic office, it's the same thing is when you look at just getting reimbursement for the adjustment, it's not great. So a lot of chiropractors feel like now they have to throw a heat pack on somebody to get a reimbursement for that, throw you on a traction table to get reimbursed for that, just to make it add up. And so that's the reason that a lot of chiropractors stop taking insurance in general. So it's not that the insurance companies don't have some sort of reimbursement for it. It's just that chiropractors don't want to be in network with these insurance companies because you don't want to have to do more just to justify the price. And so when you're focusing on the patient themselves, yes, it does create a little bit of a barrier, but I don't take any insurance in my office. But
you can use like your health savings account.
You can,
situation?
yeah, absolutely. You can use your health savings account. So HSA, FSA, all that still includes chiropractic. And it is a tax deduction as well. So
I didn't know that. I hope my accountant knows that. Man, I'm in there every week. I'm like a gold star member of Synapse Chiropractic. I got the Synapse Black card.
Yeah, there you go.
But I love what you were saying too about the brain, because that's like, obviously, like, it's helped me with headaches. It's helped with my sternum. It's helped with my legs. It's helped Valerie with I think her hips and her neck. But one of my favorite things is when you adjust my neck towards the end. Like it's that little, was it the atlas at the top, that little bone? Mm-hmm. Like I can just feel that kind of like sliding more into place, and I just feel clear and connected. Like it's like if you're like rubbing like a sore muscle, and all of a sudden blood flow starts releasing. I just feel that in my head, and it's like, okay, I feel like I'm in a better state leaving than when I first arrived. And keep in mind, I go every week. So if you haven't been ever, if you're going inconsistently, like what are you missing out on?
I'd love to tell you a story about this.
Let's do
actually.
this.
So when I was in chiropractic school, I had a mentor that came in, and he came into, it was after school, and he was just coming in, and he said, "Hey guys, gather around. Like I got a cool story for you guys." And so we all gathered around, and he starts telling us that he went to San Quentin prison to adjust the inmates. And I'm like, okay, like that's cool.
That's cool.
But in my head, I'm thinking like, why are you adjusting inmates? And
That's a
and
smart idea.
Yeah.
I see what he's doing there.
Yeah, I didn't really understand it. And so he's like, no, hear me out. Like, I'm going to tell you guys about this experience. It was amazing. And so he starts telling us how he shows up to San Quentin, and it's really like the movies. Like they make you wait outside, they get the guards with you, walk you through, and he's like, it's so loud in there. And they finally get him into the back, and they have one room with a chiropractic table. And they tell him, okay, you're going to be adjusting inmates here. We're just going to line them up, and they're going to come through. And so he starts adjusting, and he's just going through, doing his thing, spending a few minutes with each person. And then he gets this really big guy that comes in. And he's thinking, okay, like to adjust this guy, I'm really going to have to get in there on him, right? And so he lays him down on the table, makes an adjustment to the back, flips him over, and he adjusts his neck. And so as soon as he adjusts his neck, he sits him up, and the guy's just sitting there, doesn't say a word, and is just staring past him. And he's just confused. And at this point, he's like, did I hurt this guy? Like, I did go in a little bit more aggressive. What's going on? And so he asks him, he says, are you okay? And the guy doesn't respond. He's just looking literally past him. And so he's like, okay, walk towards the door at this point, or do I walk
Guards.
towards him? Right?
Guards.
Exactly. So he ends up walking to him, and he puts his hand on his shoulder, and he says, "Hey, are you okay?" And the guy finally looks over at him, and he just starts breaking down in tears. And he looks over at the chiropractor, and he says, "Hey, I just realized something." He said, "I just realized that the reason I'm here, I just realized the reason that I'm in prison." And this guy was explaining to him that he felt like he was carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. And he felt so much tension, his mood was off, and it literally, him being in that state is what led him to make the decisions that he did that put him in prison. And after he got that adjustment, it was the first time that he felt clear.
Really?
And he felt that clarity to the point where he actually realized why he was there.
That's so good.
And so it was such a great story. That one touched me big time. And then that the chiropractor went on to say, he's like, "Hey, the reason I'm going to do this," and now it's become an annual thing where they go in there and they take multiple chiropractors and they adjust them, and they talk about how it's the day that they get adjusted is literally like the quietest day in the prison.
Really?
Yeah. And so he was telling us that one day these guys are going to get out of prison, right? And I would rather have them be adjusted and more clear when they come out, so that they don't make the same decisions that put them back in there.
Oh my
gosh,
gosh.
That's really good.
Who did that? What's the name of the guy again?
So this was Dr. LaCara that came in, and he was telling this story.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant idea.
But that's exactly right. Like when I get adjusted, I feel like the words that come to my mind are clear and connected.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you hear so many people, you see it in your kids, I see it in my kids. If you're tired, you're hungry, or you're in pain, you're not going to behave like you're in your right mind.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
you're acting out of that, you're not in alignment.
Exactly.
Using a chiropractic.
There you
word.
go.
And so
Dr. Matt over here.
It's so on point, you know, going into those prisons and possibly looking at ways to treat these prisoners who may have a similar story to this guy, where they've been acting out of just pain that they've been feeling, or whatever the situation is. I love that. So that's more than just treating the body. That's treating their mental and, if you will, spiritual health.
Absolutely.
You know?
And that's one of the main reasons that we called our practice Synapse Chiropractic, because we wanted to connect on a deeper level and make sure that we're making that same sort of change for people when they're coming into our office. Because as you guys know, that one person can have a ripple effect on the rest of the community, right?
Yep.
So if you can change the life of one person, that person can change the lives
That's
of
right.
10 to 20 other people.
Absolutely. And so when we come back, we were actually going to talk about.
We're out of time.
Oh, we're out of time?
We're out of time.
What, man, where did the hour go? That was so awesome. So Synapse Chiropractic, located in Rockland. Google them. They have tons of reviews. Is that the best way to get a hold of you? Just Google Synapse Chiropractic?
Yeah, Google, give us a call.
And they'll get you in. Awesome. All right. Thanks for being on the show, Ranveer.
Thanks for having me.